Okay, cool. It's 5:03. Welcome to Discord bot workshop. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a Discord bot in Python using the Discord.py library. Making a Discord bot is actually like very easy. It's the way I learned how to use Python initially. So like the summer before I came to UCR, I started doing this, and within a month I was like pretty confident with it. If you really get good at this, you can also like take commissions for making bots. It's pretty easy. It's a very easy way to get money. If you're interested in that. So yeah, so I'll walk you guys through the process of doing everything. So because of that, join the server link there. I know some people put in the Zoom chat already. Yeah, so everyone has administrator privileges on it. Please don't abuse it. It's going to be used for educational purposes. Promise. Yeah, I also don't have slides because I don't want to take like 100 screenshots. Instead, I have a repo here. You link this. Okay, so go ahead and like open that and we can start walking through it. So the goal is to get through all of this. We're going to go over like Discord vocabulary, enabling developer mode, creating a bot application. So that's like creating a bot account, going over the installation and quick start guide from the documentation, and going over some code samples. So to start off, just some of the words that you'll see in the documentation, making sure that you know what it is. So here I'm at the server. So I'm going to enable developer mode first so I can show it off easier. So go to your user settings, go all the way to the bottom to advanced, and enable developer mode here. It isn't a significant change at all. It just gives you more options when you like right click a message, something like that. So once you do that, so Discord has messages, channels, guilds, and then within guilds there are like roles. Those are like the four major things. So if I were to type a message here, I can copy the ID of the message. So that is a message. You send a message inside a channel. So there's voice channels and there are text channels. Voice channels are kind of like messy to work with because it relies a lot on FFmpeg. So I'm just going to show like text channel stuff today. Like if you right click on a channel, you can copy the ID of it like that. And then we are in a server. A server is called a guild according to the documentation. You can right click on that, or I think it's a server icon itself. And then you can copy the ID of the guild. The IDs are unique identifiers. Channels are all like globally unique. You don't need to identify a channel by a guild. A channel is unique in its own right. A guild has certain attributes, and that'll make sense once we look at the API documentation. And there are no roles in the server. Just for simplicity, I'm just not going to get into that. But yeah, there are messages, there are channels, and there are guilds. Channels and guilds are both unique. Messages are also unique, but channels and guilds are mainly what you'd be working with. So enabling developer mode. So now we want to create like a bot account. We're going to create the bot account and invite it to the server. So to go about that, one of the links up here, we're going to go to the developer portal. So from here, we're going to go to bots and apps and make an app. This link here. And these are all the bot apps that I have. So I guess I have some pretty garbage stuff. I didn't realize. But just make a new application and just call it like demo. So once you're here, I'm going to go to the bot section and add bots. Let me go to the Zoom stuff. It's in the way. And add a bot to this app, yes. So this will create like a bot user account. Name demo, then have an icon, and then it'll give you a token. The token is how you control everything with the bot. With a token, you can like, so like all accounts on Discord have a token. A bot token controls a bot account. There's also user tokens. So the way you'd make a bot using a user account and a bot account are pretty much the same. because they all rely on this token. If you have this token, you have complete and total control of the account. So don't like leak your token. Don't accidentally commit your token to GitHub, because people will like grab your token and they'll put it into like a kick every member and every server has permissions for bots, and your servers will all die. So make sure you keep your token safe. I can't really like hide this token here, so I will post it inside the code samples when I get to it. Yeah, so now going back here. Next thing is going through the installation and quick start guides of Discord UI. So first, like installation, I guess now is a good time to like clone the repository. So copy the thing. And let me make this smaller. I'll clone it. And let me okay, so we can go in here and now we have all the code samples. This is using Python. So if you don't have Python installed, if you're on Linux, just do like apt install or sudo apt install Python 3 and then sudo apt install Python 3-pip. If you're on Windows, in the search bar on the bottom of your screen, just type in Python and hit enter, and it'll open like the Windows store. And you can just install it from the Windows store. It's not like the best way to install it, but it's pretty easy. Yeah, so once you have Python installed, you're gonna want to install the requirements. So it'll install Discord PY and all the dependencies. So Python 3-m pip install -r for requirements.txt. It'll go through those and install them. So now I will open up VS Code. So I have all of these. And looking at the basic bots. So I'm going to grab my token from the developer portal. Don't use my token because it'll mess stuff up. Or it won't really mess stuff up, but just don't. Is that right? If it's an O, ends with an M, yeah. Okay, cool. So then this is like a basic bot. Now let me go to back to here and now go to the quick start guide. So I grabbed this code from here pretty much. So just starting off, looking at the code, it's pretty easy to tell what it does. So you import Discord, you import the Discord library, you make a Discord object. Discord is like, it's asynchronous. It's all based off of events. So if you've like worked with JavaScript before, if you have those like methods that you have like method and then you have like something and then you have like parameters like that. This is pretty much the same thing where everything won't happen like automatically, right? It's like on message, it's an event. Whenever there's a message, this will happen. You don't know when a message will be. So you have an event that'll be like called whenever time the message is like, whenever a message is sent, the event is brought up and this code runs. So this is the second code example. Looking at the first code example, it's not going to actually do anything. It's just going to log in. So on ready is the event that's called when a bot starts up. So as soon as it does that, it's going to say it's logged in. And it's not on any servers yet. We didn't invite it anywhere. So on message, nothing's going to happen. So let me remove this. And let me close out of some of these. So I can do Python 3 basic bots. And it says I've logged in. So now let's invite the bot to a server. So I think the easiest way to do this is just take someone else's invite link and replace it with your own. So you can just look up like popular bots like Tatsuma or just Me6, it's easier. Me6 invite link. So going to the place where you would invite it. So you can grab their OAuth link and looking at it here. The link has a couple things. The important thing is the client ID. The client ID is the user ID. So the bot is like an actual account, right? It's like if I go into ACM server, I can find it somewhere there. It's just like a bot account, right? So like if you like hover over someone's name, if they're a bot, it'll show that they're a bot. So there's an actual like bot account. You take someone and you like, copy their ID. It's a user ID. So it's the same thing. So you can grab that from the developer portal itself. So general information. Actually, no. Client ID is where client ID. So just to make things simple, just replace the client ID with your own bots. And you can invite the bots if you're following along to the actual server. Invalid, no way. Yeah, I don't have. Okay, let's use a different one. Totally know what I'm doing. Then let's grab the client ID. And grab the link. And now we can see that the demo bots. So now let's add it to the server and authorize it. And you can see that it joined the server. And you can see that it has a bot label to show that it's a bot account. So now going back to the code, every time a message is sent, it'll say the author of who it's sent and like the content. I'll show like the API for that later. Right now it's just to show that this is how it works. Yeah. So now whenever you send messages, it'll show up here. Yeah. Yeah. So that's like a very simple bot. So now moving on to something slightly more complicated. So let me copy over my token. So same thing, we're going to import Discord and create a Discord object. So when the bot's ready, it's going to say that it's logged in. And every time a message is sent, ignoring this for now, if the message starts with hello, then it'll like send hello back. So when you have events, they have to have certain parameters, and that's defined in the documentation. So if I go back to repo, there is a link to events. And you can read about all the different events that like exist. But basically, so if I were to search for like on message, so whenever the whenever the event is like called, it'll include a like reference to the message that was sent. And from the message that was sent, you can get a lot of attributes from it. So if you go to the message like object on the left side, then the message like class, right? You can see that there's a lot of different things that you can get from it. So we want to send a message in a channel. So in order to like get to that channel, it has a channel attribute. And the channel attribute returns this. And it's going to be a text channel because you're sending a message in it. Messages are only sent in text channels. And then you have more stuff. And then you can see like send. So I guess that's kind of complicated. You kind of just have to like jump through the API and try and figure out what you have and what you want to get out of it. Discord API / permissions. Let me see what this is. Oh yeah, okay. What that link is, it's referring to the permissions integer. So like in the invite link, it has this part here where it's like permissions equals whatever this is. Oh yeah, wait, never mind. Or yeah, you could use that to create a link like easily. Or yeah, never mind. I'll just continue with what I was going on with. So if we want to like send messages in a channel, then we can like look up on the APIs. We have a message parameter. From the message, we can get its channel, the channel that it was sent in. From the channel that it was sent in, we can like send messages in that channel itself. So when it like comes down to it, Discord bots are basically just like normal programs. You have input and output. The input is through someone's message or like through the attributes of like a user. Like when someone sends a message, you can get stuff from them, and like output something. But it's basically just input output, but in a channel. So because of that, it's just from this. The code's pretty self-explanatory. Like if it starts with hello, then it'll respond with hello. So then going back to Discord, if we like do hello. So this is like an example of a command. So now going back to like these two lines here. The reason it's like this is because say that like whenever any message is sent, it'll try and do what it needs to do with it. So if I like got rid of this, and so like if a message starts with hello, it'll send hello back. There's no check to see if like it'll make sense when it runs. Yeah, it'll just keep looping over itself, and then it'll get rate limited and it'll die. So that's why you have those two lines there. Yeah, so now with this, you can pretty much make anything you want, right? So you have like a way to like sort of make commands. If it starts with hello, then you can access the content of the message and do stuff based on that. But it's very like messy, right? You're gonna have a bunch of if statements. Like if it starts with hello, then do this. If it starts with like whatever commands like play or whatever you have on the Discord bot. So because of that, you're gonna need a like command manager. I forgot the right word for it. Command handler. You need a way to handle commands like gracefully. And you could make one yourself, or you could use like the one from the official library. So when you install discord.py, it installed this too. So when you import this, then you get access to the like Discord command handler. So before, stuff was called like clients, like this, but now there's like a lot more features because it's going to handle commands for you. So you can set up a prefix in the constructor for the Discord object, and you can add these like command blocks. So everything is like really self-explanatory, I think. Like you have your parameters, and when sending stuff back, you just send it. Yeah. let's just show how this works. And we'll go through the code as it does. I didn't put the token. Okay. So now, like looking at a command built like this. So we have add, and all commands like this have something called CTX or context as a parameter. With CTX, instead of like on message, you have access to a message, and from the message you get access to the channel. With CTX, you can access it directly. So like the message, the channel, the server it's in, it's just like implied. Yeah. So then for the parameters, they're separated by a space in the message content. And you can use type hinting. It's like ints. So if I do like add 1, then it'll send it back. Really straightforward. But if I were to do like add and then like a word, then you can see it errors out. And the reason for that is because it expects an int. But you can just straight up like remove that. And it'll just add them together. So basic Python stuff. For rate limits, you don't have to like pay to go beyond it. They just like ban you for a little bit. If you keep doing it, then they'll just like not let you interact with the API for a little bit, for like a few minutes. It's not a big deal. Big bots see something called sharding. Somewhere on here. I guess not, but like. So instead of having like one bot that handles everything together, it divides it all into a bunch of small bots. And each of those small bots serve like a certain amount of servers. So when you invite the bot to your server, it's placed on like a shard. Yeah, but it's still possible to get rate limited. So I have a bot that's in like 700 servers, and it gets rate limited sometimes. People use it too much. So I probably have to do that soon. But you can go really, really high without running into it. Yeah. But like, I don't know. If I go through the rest of the samples, it's kind of boring. Does anyone have any like ideas of something they'd want to see implemented? And I can show you how to use the API and do it. If not, I'll just go through the rest of them. How do you, okay. Timed messages, yeah, okay. Oh, and reaction rules, okay. So for reaction rules, I'm gonna do like a hacky way of doing it because I don't know the best way to do it. So there's an event for like on reaction add. So whenever reactions are like added to a message and the bot's in a server and it has permissions to see that reaction, it'll call this event. So I can just copy this. I can copy. I'll just add it to this one. So it's an event, so I'll just follow the template. I have no idea how to write it from scratch. You just copy paste and it works. So let's do something simple. So print, do something like that. Oh, I'm dumb. So now if we react to something, then we can see reaction added. So now I'm gonna do something that'll make it so that roles actually like can be added. So create a role, add me. And then I'm gonna make it so that the role is below the role that the bot is in. So the only way you can add a role to someone in Discord is if you have like a higher level than them. So the demo bot's in the demo role, add me's below it. And yeah. So when doing this, we need to like figure out a way to like get access to the user and add a role to the user. So when doing that, you can probably just search the API, or I can just straight up like Google how to add role to user in Discord. Or I can go through like the user let's see, user, and see if there's anything related to like roles, like a method related to it. Yeah, so it isn't here. So roles are added at like a server level. So maybe it's part of like the server, the guild. It's just like create role. So maybe add role would be here too. But I don't know where it is. So let's use Google for simplicity. Connect to social. Yeah, you can do that. Anything you can do with Python, you can easily do with the Discord bot. It's just like copy pasting the code, and then like when you want to send a message, just like do like the channel.send thing. So Discord API, how to add role to someone. So looks like it's the add roles method, and it uses the Discord object itself. So let's look at that in the API. Add roles. Okay, so gives the member a number of roles. You must have the manage roles permission to use this. So the bot's an administrator, so it should have that, but you can grab it, yeah, anyways. Grant it manage roles. And then the parameters is the role, an argument list of this representing a role to give to the member, and some other stuff. So looking back at the example of how it's used, okay, so it looks like it grabs a user object through this. A user is passed in here. So just to follow the sample code. So it's easy, member equals user. This is not C++. And then role equals, let's do this. And then the name of the role that we have is add me. And then we can copy in the last thing. Let's try that. And it'll probably break, but hopefully it won't. So now when you add like a reaction to anything, it does not. Get is not defined. Okay, let's find a different way to do it. Oh, they imported that. So let me add that to this code. So now, does that work? Object has no attribute server. Why is it server? Wouldn't it be guild? You know, try again. It'll work eventually. Not spamming, I promise. Now bot has no attribute, add roles. So let's see what. Okay, so it looks like we'd add it directly to the user, like member.add roles. You know, it'll work eventually. And now unknown role, you know? Okay, so let's see how it identifies the role. Or we can just look like a different example. You know, maybe this is doomed. We tried this. And that's the same place you were just at. No way. Or we can just look up like actual examples, like discord.py, GitHub. I know there's an example for reaction rules here. Like on reaction add, and it does like a bunch of error checking, but we don't need error checking. It's only in one guild. What's the worst that can happen? So it looks like it gets the role by the role ID. So let's try that instead. You know, it's already doomed. So, and we will use user.guild to access the guild of the user and the role ID. I'll just go to here, and since I have developer mode on, I can copy the ID of it by right-clicking on it. And you know, maybe this will work. Who knows? There's like a message caching thing. It's the reason I keep sending a new message every time. Okay, so now it's saying, dude, that is a big error. No way. Unknown role. You know, didn't think this would go like this. So now it can be like how to get guild using ID. Discord PY. This is not what I want. Let's see how they get it in the example. How do they get the guild? Guild equals self.getGuild, payload.guild.id. Sure, why not? And then I'll adjust it. We don't have payload, we have try reaction, not guild.id. Just look at the guilds. And then the role will be guild.getRole. That. It literally can't fail. There's no way. Okay. And self is not the, oh yeah, it's not in a class. Use bots because that is the thing. The reason why I'm sending a new message every time is because of like message cache. There's like something called intents that makes it all like very messy. Yeah, just don't worry about it. Okay, so now there's no way it'll fail, right? Right, reaction has no attribute guild. Oh yeah, I should have expected that. But user. Now for sure. Member has no. Yeah. It'll work eventually. This is why you don't go like off of your examples when doing demos, dude. Not found, unknown role. Huh. No. It really will work eventually. We have like what, like 20 minutes? Dude, we got this. How can we fail? No, member is not defined. GG, man. That's a really weird command. Let's look at how they did it here. Payload.member.add roles role. No. Probably have made this before, but maybe there's something convenience. So it's a member function. So as long as this role, like, okay. You can look up like how to get guild object, or no. On reaction add. So on reaction add returns a reaction and a user. So let's see if we can do anything from reaction. You can get the emoji, the count, the person who sent it, the message it's from. Oh yeah, so if we can get the message it's from, then we can loop back to the guild. So let's do that. So reaction.message.guild. So now we have the guild objects. And then we can get the role object. And then let's go back to add role. Or add roles. Okay. Did you ever just like debugging code and you like compile it and you just forget how to test it? So sad. Okay, it didn't give an error. Okay. And it worked. It only took like, what, 10 minutes? Not bad. But like, yeah, first try. But the way I like see Discord bots is like you're given like two things. You're given like one thing. And in order to do what you want to do, you have to like go through a bunch of things to get there. So if I want to add like a role to someone, so this isn't like an actual like role reaction thing yet, right? But it's close enough, right? um, with like more error checking and like I would check if like the message ID of the message from the reaction is like a certain one. Then if so, add the role. That's how I would make it like an actual bot or like the popular reaction bots. But you're given a reaction and a user, and you have to find a way to get the attributes into the method that does what you want to do. And all the code on Google is outdated. It's never updated. So yeah, just takes a lot of trial and effort, I guess. Um, since I'm not using any of my planned stuff at this point, does anyone else want to see something? It'll go faster this time, I promise. Or like any ideas of what to see or what you would want to see. Delete my message every time I send it. Okay, thank you for picking an easy one. That's not Kobe, right? So we'll assume it's Kobe. So let's copy his ID. So I'm not gonna use this one because it doesn't have it set up. So on message, so if it can be like the author of the message, if their ID is Kobe's ID, then we can just delete it. It's not C++, delete it. So we can figure out how to delete it. Here, delete message. We don't want to purge, I guess. So let's look at the message. And there's a delete method. So awaits delete. Let's do that. Awaits message dot delete. Are there any parameters that we need to give it? None. A delay. Let's do it with and without it. So now when Kobe sends a message, it'll just delete it. And there you go. Could also do something like everything here I had was like based on like kicking or banning someone. So we can just every time Kobe sends a message, it'll like kick him or something like that. I don't know, but like the point is, you just look at the API until you figure it out. But it's not that bad. Await is basically like a return statement for an async. Okay. So yeah, so await says wait for it to like return something, because if it doesn't return something, then it returns like an empty object. I forgot what it was called. In JavaScript, it's called like a promise, I think, that like it'll eventually return something. Just wait for it to return something, and once you return something, proceed with the code. So yeah, you use await with async. So you need to wait for it to get like the role or something, or you need to wait for it to add the role before like proceeding. It's like, because you don't want it to print that it added the role when it hasn't actually gotten the role yet. So you want to wait and make sure that this method finishes first and then it moves on to the next one. This whole concept is called like coroutines, and the library is like async.io. It's in the requirements.txt. Yeah. Cool. But for the other code samples that I had, it was basically just like showing more or less the same thing. Command to ban yourself. So CTX, it implies what you're accessing. So the server, you're going to access the ban and then ban the person who sent the message. You can ban yourself. And then taking it one step further and banning someone else. So you supply a user, so you tag someone, and then it bans them. And yeah. And this one has like some error checking and optional parameters. Yeah, does anyone have any questions on this? I kind of, who needs pacing? That was a mess, but yeah. Access a member outside. Access an array externally. Yes, it depends how like, what's the right word for this? How, or how long you want to store it for. So the solution to like global variables in Discord is to just like, so you have like your bot object, which is your Discord like object. So you can just declare a bot variable being like bot dot whatever equals like a dictionary. And then like the dictionary would have like the channel the game is happening in, and then whatever data related to it. Yeah, so you just have stuff that's like global. So I can show an example of that from something that I did. Let's see. I have this. So like another way you can do it is to just like keep opening and closing JSON files, and in those JSON files have like the data, and then just relate everything with like channels and skills or servers. Yeah, if you want to implement something in Discord, chances are someone already did it. If you just search the thing that you want to do on like GitHub, you'll probably find a method that someone else did, and you can just tweak it to do whatever you want it to do. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions about this? Or did I like not see something I should have seen? Oh, the clear for bot messages like in Rhythm. To do that, I would like, you thought he was free. Okay, to do that, there's a method that we saw earlier. It's called like purge. And it's just straight up calling this method with the number of messages you want to delete. And then looks like you can add like a check. So you check if the author is a bot account. It's just another simple method. You can host your bot for free on REPL. REPL, there's a way you can do it, and it's free, and yeah, there's no reason not to. Use REPL. You can also use Heroku. Yeah, there's like a ton of guides that show how to do it. 5 minutes. You can also use, or I personally use a VPS that I pay for, but there's no reason to do that. You can just use Heroku or REPL, and it'll host it. REPL can do everything. It's crazy. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? And just like anything related to it. If not, then I guess we are done. Besides the whole like 15 minutes of troubleshooting thing, hopefully that wasn't too bad. Yeah. Thanks for coming out.